of Tales from the Void podcast, I bring you your glorious hosts.
I'm Sean and I like apple juice.
I'm Josh. Hi.
I'm Mike. Hi, too. Let's rock and roll. All right, so this new Assassin's Creed game came out. If I could just drop this on you guys.
Drop away.
Any experience, either of you? Do you guys play it or hear
Not
anything
the new
about
one,
it?
no.
The only thing I've heard about it are some amazing pictures of the glitches in the game. That's it.
Yeah, the glitches get a little crazy.
One of my favorites, there's a GIF on Reddit of this guy who looks like Da Vinci from like the second one, and his neck is like 4 feet long, and he's like bowed out, and he's almost essentially T-Rex walking away from the camera.
Oh my god. Well, let me correct you. The elongated man makes an appearance. I'm kidding. He doesn't. There are some hilarious reviews that have been written, but before I do that, I just wanted to say I'm enjoying the story. I think the story is great. It's building up right now. I think I'm about 40% of the way through. The free running, excellent. It's a little more natural. It harkens back to Assassin's Creed 2 in a way.
So it took him like 14 games to finally nail it.
I don't understand why they ever veered away from the clean running of Assassin's Creed 2.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got to Black Flag, it was so chunky. The little things that really bother me are, one, in order for you to loot a chest, you have to be directly in front of the chest.
That pissed me off to no end in Black Flag.
Why? Why?
Heaven forbid someone stands from behind the thing and opens it, or moves to the side and pops it open.
I used to, again, I'm going to bring up Assassin's Creed 2 because to me it's like the perfect game. But I used to like jump on top of those boxes and hold square, and it would just fill the little meter.
Yep. And you'd fall down, chest would open.
Chest looted.
Yeah.
Game continue. But anyway, that's one of the little things that bother me.
Let's not forget how real people wanted to make this game. And instead of, you know, they did the ships and the whaling and whatnot, and you had to stand in front of the chest.
You talking about Black Flag?
Yeah. You had to stand in front of the chest to open it. But you could carry like the 412 lead balls you got for your ship from that one chest.
Yeah, all of a sudden I have like a bag with 1,000
You're all of
coin.
a sudden Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid carrying a rocket launcher and
a
40 boxes of
cardboard
diazepam.
box.
Yeah.
and a cardboard box with
Yeah.
you.
Sorry.
No. Yeah, those are the little things, and the things that are irritating from Black Flag. They I guess they wanted to go ahead and keep that in, so those have translated as well into the new game.
Well,
But-
when you turn a game around for an annual release, there's going to be some stuff that they don't properly fix.
Well, that's the other thing that's like a slap in the face, because Assassin's Creed 2 was followed by Brotherhood, and Brotherhood was sweet too. And Revelations was also sweet. It's like as soon as they left Ezio,
Yeah.
shit got real. Because, okay, I like Connor.
Okay, but look at the progress between 1 and 2, and then you could immediately feel that difference in like what a rushed development would be from like Brotherhood and Revelations. I feel like those were obviously rushed. Good
Between
games,
Brotherhood and Revelations?
good games in themselves, but yeah, I think especially if you compare that, you know, how they progressed from 1 to 2, and then Brotherhood and Revelations coming from 2, it's just kind of like they just crammed some stuff together really quick.
Well, so I guess that's another thing that might bother me then. I mean, stop cramming them together like that. Shit. Give us a little bit of time. You know, give us a little bit of time. And this one, like, there was that Assassin's Creed Rogue that also, you know, is part of it. And that one's getting better reviews than Unity. And that
Really?
was a companion game. Yeah.
I was going to say, wasn't Rogue supposed to be like all ship battles or something? And it was only supposed to be like a side.
Rogue is a side game, but you're playing a Templar on that side.
Oh, wow.
There are more ship battles. There's more high seas antics, but you're a Templar instead of an assassin. So
Ooh.
yeah, so it's kind of cool. You get to play kind of a whole different storyline. But I already did it.
I was going to say, you got to do it in 3.
In 3, yeah. You got to do it in the whole first part, which, by the way, blew my mind.
I remember you telling me I got it just after you did, and you were like, you're going to play the first part. And for some reason, I thought you said it's like the first 20 minutes.
It's like 3 hours long.
Yeah, I'm sitting there like an hour and a half in going, I skipped it, or I, passed it, or I'm not paying attention. And then, 3 hours in.
I tend to build cathedrals when I like something, and then I try to show people all the pretty parts. But memory, and I think we'll post the video, but I hadn't completed a memory, something small, jumping over an object. So I decided to just take the honorable route and jump into a large fire
Obviously.
and kill myself. So when I tried to do that, Arnaud, the character, just floated in the mid-air and was swinging his arms and legs as if he was falling for all eternity. And
As if suicide was not a solution.
it's just not an option, apparently. I mean, it's just not an option. But I mean, I also experienced hilarious character deaths as well. Have you guys heard about any of the hilarious antics that come from killing a character?
Now, this I have not heard.
Okay. I have a really fine blade. It's a scimitar. Stabby, stabby. Counterattack. Kill somebody. Okay? They fall to the ground. So the one guy fell almost like he fell into a swimming pool because he was kind of floating in the bricks that made up the road. There was no swimming pool. Okay, so his face is sticking out and he's spewing blood. Okay, and then his arms and legs come out of nowhere and start doing that dance those huge inflatable guys do outside of tire oil change places. It was just so ridiculous. And there were a few times where I ended a mission and then went to do a jump out of a doorway and fell right through the level into oblivion. So it isn't complete, but that's what I wanted to share as well. There are some pretty funny review posts out there. There's one on Amazon that's pretty crisp, if I may. Reviewed November 12th, 2014. The title of the review, he gave it 5 stars, which is mind-boggling. The review is named "Become a $60 Beta Assassin." He says, AC Unity is true next-gen. In fact, it is so next-gen that it isn't even finished yet. I like to be on the cutting edge, and I appreciate that Ubisoft is making games that it is still making even weeks after you've beaten them. I also love the forced integration with an app as well as a website. How that works is that you sign in with your Uplay account to experience so many error messages that last gen could never display them on the screen at one time.
Nice.
Yeah. The game itself, no spoilers, centers around Arnaud, an assassin in search of locked chests that require a cell phone game with microtransactions to open. You level him up by hacking into your bank account to drain real money at 60 feet per second. The rest of the game runs at a solid 12 feet per second, which is twice as cinematic as a movie. No small feat. Once you've completed playing a website on your computer, Arnaud is finally ready to fall through the ground and enter a white abyss. That's what I personally experienced.
That.
The core challenge of the game, these moments where you simply fall into the sky that accurately existed under 1700s Paris, are some of the most nail-biting moments in any game ever made. Will the game crash? Will you have to hard reset your console? Results are random, so it'll always be a surprise. Well, he goes on. He has more. It's hilarious. But I just wanted to share that because I experienced the same things he did and why the game is getting such a low score. It's got like a 5.5 Metacritic score or something terrible.
That sucks, especially for an Assassin's Creed game.
Assassin's Creed, man. Well,
Yeah.
and to be fair, it's not Call of Duty, which always gets 10s, but
That's IGN, though.
it is IGN. By the way, one quick spoiler.
Go ahead.
When he dives into these little rifts in the Animus, so one of the rifts you dive through to get away from the system purge, because they purge the system, Abstergo purges the system, dives into it, pops out 1944 Paris. And there are soldiers all over the place. There are zeppelins flying in the sky, completely out of place. And you climbing the
Just
Eiffel
as the
Tower.
invasion happens.
Just as the invasion's going down. Well, you're climbing the Eiffel Tower, and there are planes shooting at you as you're climbing the Eiffel Tower. It's awesome.
How far into the game is that?
30% probably.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's I just wanted to get that off my chest.
When the donations from all of our listeners comes in for my Xbox One, I'm gonna get the Unity bundle. So I want to know how far this comes in.
Yeah. Just send your money to Sean.
Yeah, we'll put up the link for Sean's Kickstarter.
Josh, I know you wanted to mention a little something.
I want to talk about Sonic Highways,
Ooh.
show on HBO that is about the Foo Fighters and them recording their 8th studio album. And it's all about the process of how they're recording this album. each episode is featured in a different city, which is basically like what you would consider the musical capitals of the country. So every episode is featured in a new town, and in that episode, you'll get like basically like interviews. It kind of plays out sort of documentary style, in that like they interview like musical legends from that town. They'll show like a bunch of old clips and old things of like, how the music scene and it was, and bands that like got their origin in that town, and you get a bunch of history like of that town, as well as you're learning like all this stuff and getting really cool interviews, by the way, with people. And uh in it, they just kind of like let themselves be completely influenced like by the town and the history of the music there, and they write one song for every town that they're in and record it there
Wow, that's cool.
in a and they pick like some old like unique recording studio that has like its own history, that you also get a bit out of the studio itself as well. So yeah, and then at the end of the episode, is you get like the finalized song. They play the song at the end of the episode.
That's pretty fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Did this show come out before the new album?
It's currently running, and the album came out. So they are 5 episodes in, and the album like just came out like last week.
I'm sure there's something different about watching a band play than it is just hearing them on an album, though. So that would be
It
kind of
is.
cool to see them play with. Remember you telling me about this? You said they did with the Zach Brown band at one point.
Yeah, that's actually another thing, is like each song they actually do feature, like they have like a guest musician from like
That's
they
awesome.
bring like a musical legend like from there, like Zach Brown band was in like the Nashville episode, and he recorded like with that song. Joe Walsh was in the Los Angeles one, and he recorded on that song.
Oh, that's cool.
And it is really cool because I'm listening to. I was never like a huge Foo Fighters fan before.
Nobody's
but
a huge Foo Fighters fan.
Maybe nobody is. Well, they got a lot of fans, but you definitely don't have to be a Foo Fighters fan to really enjoy the show. You can definitely like I'm completely absorbed into it, and I love it, and I'm really actually enjoying this album. And I'm even having fun now, like listening to the episodes that I haven't seen air yet, or the songs. I'm listening to the songs for the episodes that haven't aired yet, and I'm like listening to it, trying to guess like what that next town is. Just listening to the lyrics and stuff.
That's a lot of fun, man. Dave Grohl, of course, right?
Yes,
He produced a documentary called Sound City.
I have that documentary. I love that as well.
Outstanding. And I didn't really like that guy for a really long time. I thought he was a giant douche.
Because he came from Nirvana, the worst band ever.
Well, I mean, they had some interesting lyrics, but no, I just didn't like Dave Grohl. I don't know what it was. I guess just didn't like the guy. But after watching Sound City, I mean, literally
He's a-
180-degree turnaround.
He's a really cool guy.
What's Sound City about?
Sound City is about a soundboard that came out of a studio. What was the studio name? Do you remember?
Sound City.
Title.
So the board came out of Sound City. A lot of famous bands recorded on that board.
Okay.
But yeah, the whole show is centered around that, and what artists recorded out of there, what albums came out of there, and it was more of showcasing that board more than anything else. But it was really cool. At the end, they were jamming with like Paul McCartney.
Yeah,
There-
it is sort of similar to that in a way, that it was like, yeah, you get all this history, you get all these like guest musicians on,
I like
all
it.
these interviews, and then yeah, towards the end of the documentary, they record with that board that they saved from the studio that was shutting down, and you get to see like making of clips of them recording, because they made an album for the documentary with a bunch of like musical guests as well, like Paul McCartney and things like that.
That sounds like such an out-of-the-box idea. It on paper, it just sounds weird, like, oh, let's save the soundboard.
Mm-hmm.
But watching it sounds like it's the greatest thing ever. Like, it's probably one of the best documentaries you could see.
I actually, if you have a Blu-ray player, I do have it in the van.
I'm going to steal it then.
You don't even have to steal it. I'm gonna hand it to you.
Yeah.
It's gonna hand it
I'm
to
going to send you to CVS to get a water. I'm going to take it.
Damn, he's ruthless.
Yep.
But I like shows like that, and I like the episodic nature of it, because they're actually taking you on a journey with them to write this album. So you're a part of the album. It's not so much. That's again why Grohl's kind of pulled me in a little bit. He's not this lofty, hard to reach douche. He's actually a super cool dude.
Yeah.
You were gonna say something?
Well, no, I was going to say on the lines of him being super cool, online like 2 years ago, he boasted the Foo Fighters Rider, which is, for those who don't know, what the band requires when they do shows in certain cities. And they posted one for, I think, like Pittsburgh they went to, and it had a mix of like what they seriously wanted. So they wanted like Fiji water and fruit. And then they had like the most egregious demands, like peeled red M&Ms, and they couldn't be any other color but the red ones. Just to
that's
show
awesome.
that people were being a little too demanding in their shows, because this was around the time like Britney Spears was getting called out for her riders, Mariah Carey, people like that.
They have weird requests, those guys. But yeah, I think it was Britney Spears who wanted a single color of M&M
Yeah.
or something.
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
And Dave Grohl wanted his peeled, but it had to be the reds.
It had to be peeled red ones. Yeah, so Sound City was sweet. Anyway, what I was going to say as well about that show is that on I don't know if you've heard of this television station. It's called Palladia. It's all music all the time, and it's like what MTV should have always been. And,
Right.
there's this really cool show. I had to pull it up, but it's called Live from Daryl's House, and it's Daryl Hall from Hall & Oates, and he invites guests over. And I don't mean just anybody. We're talking like CeeLo Green. He'll invite country stars. He'll invite rock stars. He had
Wow.
Jack White over there on a show. It just blew my mind. So watching songs getting recorded, the behind the scenes, the interview, dude, that is the meat and potatoes now for me. I can't
Oh, yeah?
just listen to an album anymore. I almost
Yeah.
want the extras, you know?
Dude, I'm telling you, watch this show. You'll get into it. I guarantee it.
Oh, I'm in.
Even when, like the last episode was Los Angeles. So even when you're kind of like, they're hitting like Chicago, Washington D.C., Nashville, and you see like the next one coming up is going to be like Los Angeles. I'm just kind of like, L.A. Like
Right.
that scene, like really, like what are they going to pull like from there? And the majority of the episode of from L.A. was actually about the studio that was there, that was actually outside, appropriately titled because the song from that town is called Outside.
Nice.
Yeah, the studio was actually outside, and it was largely about like the two guys that ran it and like the history of like of that studio and some of the more underground stuff that kind of came out of LA, not instead of like the glitz and glam stuff, which I appreciated.
Yeah, man, LA gets a bad rap sometimes, but we've gotten a lot of cool stuff out of that town.
Yeah.
So can't be too mad. Sean, did you have a thing?
Are you guys ready?
Oh,
Ready?
dude, I got my pants on. Let's rock.
Whatever episode it was, we were discussing TV premieres. We had talked about Arrow, and I had mentioned briefly
That
about,
was our premiere.
That was episode
that
1.
was our premiere, wasn't it? I had mentioned that I was hoping that they would use the boxing glove arrow in some way or another.
And
I'm gonna wait for Josh. By the way, what's this podcast brought to you by?
Oh, this is a what is it? Almond coconut cookie. Vegan almond coconut cookie.
I'm gonna wait for you to get that bite in before I drop
so
it.
Josh has a yet another vegan pound
no, man.
cake.
Hit me with that boxing glove arrow. Come on.
That is literally what happened in last week's episode.
What?
I fucking
Direct hit?
lost it.
They
Yes.
did not use a boxing glove
They
arrow.
did, and they used it in the best way possible. He goes into this boxing club. Spoilers for the episode.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
He goes, there's this boxing trainer who's training Laurel, and Oliver expects him of, well, we all know what's going to happen.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So anyway, he goes into the boxing club, and he's about to, he's hunting down the trainer. And the trainer throws something. He does a flip. He stabs a boxing glove with his arrow, fires it, hits the guy in the face, and knocks him out.
I will never watch that show.
That's pretty awesome. But I thought it was going to be. I thought it was actually going to be an invention.
Oh, God, no.
He might use it again.
Yeah.
Shit, it worked.
Yeah.
It worked so well the first time.
Yeah. He didn't want to kill him. He wanted to take him down, so he did the only thing he could, and he stabbed it and shot him. It was done so well.
So Taylor Swift has refused to put her new album up through streaming services, as Josh so eloquently put it.
Way to blame T. Sweezy.
He's been watching Taylor Swift's career quite closely.
Swifty.
Yeah, so other artists that have done this, and is it weird?
There are other artists who haven't put their albums out on even just any digital platform, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Pandora. And it's a mixture of things. It's either the recording label's call, because the artist really has no right to where their music goes.
That's true.
They will have a say probably, but in terms of final call, I mean, even with the when Taylor Swift stuff was pulled, and everybody was like, "What's going on?" Her rep even said this was at the behest of the recording label.
Oh, really? So it wasn't Taylor.
Yeah, because her stuff was on Spotify. I can tell you that for sure.
Sean
I'm
has
a fan.
subscriptions.
Well,
I'm a
no,
fan.
yeah, it was, and then before this new album came out, she said no, and then there was the little tiff between, you know,
She did not say no.
Can I ask a
do you
pertinent?
want? I actually have the article of her quote
Of
on
her
this.
saying, "Oh, that's
Yes.
actually her quote."
Yeah.
Damn it.
Can I ask a pertinent question here?
Ask.
Why wouldn't you want your music streaming? Why wouldn't you want the exposure?
I don't. Well, I actually haven't.
Money.
Yeah, it's two things. It's
Money.
greed and it's vanity.
Yeah.
How do you not make money having your music? Because they have to buy rights, right?
How does? Do you remember how that?
No, it's essentially pay per play.
Okay.
So like the more something gets streamed,
Yeah.
here's money. Here's money. It's basically like radio. If your stuff gets played, you're getting royalties.
I thought you got royalties anyway
Yeah.
for X amount. Like you could unlimited use. You just paid that flat fee.
Yeah.
or
I
something.
always thought it was. I understood as like the streaming service bought the album and then whatever play there was, that service got cash.
My understanding of it may be outdated, but from what I understood, it was always more of a pay per play. And I don't know. Maybe that's something we need to research. Either way, they do get compensated.
So
Probably not
wha-
as much though.
So it might be the difference in how much they're getting paid.
Yeah.
It's probably that, and it's also probably a combination of, vanity and just that record sales and getting awards and your headlines for that are a way of the past now. No one's selling gold and platinum records nearly like they used to.
Yeah, gold's down.
I was gonna say it's probably harder to go platinum on an album when you're selling thousands of songs rather than entire albums at a time.
And maybe that's the deal. I mean, I
Um,
know Def Leppard was a big holdout. Are they still holding out from iTunes?
I'm not sure.
No, they're on iTunes.
Are they on iTunes? Because I mean, I think last time I checked,
believe,
a couple
anyway.
years ago, I tried to download some Def Leppard songs, and there were
Def Leppard. Oh, who cares?
wow,
I'm sorry.
wow.
You should care.
Note to self: Josh
were
listens
the
to
ins-
some good
I
music.
actually have an article here with some numbers.
Yeah, dude, fire away.
Numbered up, buddy.
Okay, so here was this whole fight between Swiftie, the label, and Spotify,
You're the
in
worst.
that they say, Spotify claims that she was projected to earn $6 million a year. Swift's label boss fired back in Time magazine, where he said Spotify had paid a mere $500,000 for Taylor Swift's domestic streams last year.
Yeah, it's a big difference in numbers, and I'm no mathematician.
Yeah.
Spotify replied in the same Time article saying it had paid Swift $2 million in global streaming royalties over the last 12 months. See where we're kind of nitpicking here, and they explain the difference here. Okay, 6 million, 500,000, 2 million. How do you reconcile all those numbers? It's pretty simple, actually. All these numbers could be accurate without conflict. Borchetta, who is Swift's bossy boss, was looking to cherry pick the smallest possible figure, so he went with 500,000, which is what Spotify paid for Taylor Swift streams in the U.S., but that's only for one of its markets and not even the largest. Globally, Spotify paid Swift $2 million over the last year.
So was it a deception to use the smaller number then? Were they trying
Exactly.
Yeah.
to? Oh,
Exactly.
come on, T Swift. Damn.
Sweezy.
And her, if you want to hear her statement on it,
Want to hear her period.
Please do.
her statement on it is, if I had streamed the new album, it's impossible to try to speculate what would have happened. All I can say is that music is changing so quickly, and the landscape of the music industry itself is changing so quickly, that everything new, like Spotify, which isn't new at all, by the way, all feels to me a bit like a grand experiment. And I'm not willing to contribute my life's work to an experiment that I don't feel fairly compensates the writers, producers, artists, and creators of this music.
Yeah, because they need millions of dollars to write words.
Yeah, there's like another paragraph and a half, but I'll leave it off because that's basically
No,
what-
let's
that's
stop
basically what
there.
she says over and over.
I actually felt myself getting dumber as you were reading her words.
You look
here's
dumber.
here's where I'll actually go. Here's where I'll actually go in her and other artists' defense is they absolutely have. I stand by their right to be able to say whatever they want, pick whatever they want. If they don't want their stuff on streaming,
Mm-hmm.
okay, fine. They
At
don't
least
want
make
it on
some
streaming.
goddamn sense, though.
Maybe do that, but yeah, I would say when it's obviously strictly about greed and vanity, then that's where I do kind of have a problem with it. But it's her own choice, and if she wants to make that, I don't have an issue with her standing against it.
I just don't know that Taylor Swift knows what the fuck she's talking about. I'm just saying that just based on the things she said. Talking about everything being a grand experiment. Radio is a grand experiment. I don't want my voice going out over the radio waves for fear that it may scare children. I don't know what that means. What does it mean it's all a
I
grand
don't know.
experiment?
Well,
Probably just
a
a
little-
way to dodge the whole situation, but
It's a
back
little-
her label.
And
You're kind of required
it's
to
a
do
little
that.
bit of a cop out in just saying that versus the streaming. I want the record sales. I want the numbers.
like a,
and let's not forget whatever she doesn't get from Spotify or Songify or whatever those things are, she's still getting sales from iTunes. She's still getting sales from
Right.
other services.
Honestly,
That's just extra money. That's like, oh, thanks
Yeah.
for extra money, but it's not enough extra money.
and honestly, if anything, isn't things like Pandora and Spotify and other services like that, aren't those probably cutting back on people bootlegging?
Hugely.
Yeah.
Hugely.
yeah.
So-
Because I can fire up a Pandora station. I don't know of a band that I like to listen to. I'm probably less likely to jump all over the place to download that song if it's on call.
yeah.
Let's go into Tool. Let's talk about Tool real quick.
Tool's awesome.
They don't really. I remember him saying they don't have a greatest hits because they don't want to piece their album, like pull pieces of their albums. And I don't believe they're on Spotify or anything like that either.
I don't know, but see, that's a different story because a Tool album is intended to be heard from beginning to end as one piece. So them not wanting a greatest hits plays into the fact that they don't want to be streamed either because it's artistic. It's an artistic clash. It's not that Tool is saying they're not making enough money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's saying that, hey, I want my art to be viewed as one piece. I don't want them to take just Mona Lisa's left eye. I want them to see the whole painting. That's what he wants. That dude is a different animal entirely than this dude, Taylor Swift.
Why couldn't Taylor
he's really
Swift be
weird.
that way?
Because she literally said, the words that are coming out of her mouth.
Grand experiment.
Those were made up. Josh just typed them up on his iPod.
Yeah, that's
Josh,
all I
His
did.
iPod. Every time I talk about getting an Apple product in the most like absurd way, I always go to the iPod.
Yeah, because that's the
Latest and greatest.
flagship item that came out of there.
You got any Steve Jobs for us today?
I will in a moment if you really, want it. Well, that's good.
No,
good for you, Taylor Swift. Way to stick to your guns, you jerk.
I like the idea that some artists aren't releasing it because it's requiring them to tour more. Because that's how they make their money now. They don't make
Yeah.
as much as selling albums as they do touring now.
Well, that's the other thing. Again, I mean, they have so many. So, as an artist, you have so many places you can. And until I see something different, I think I'll always think this way. As an artist, let's say a recording artist, popular name, you'll always have a place to pull money from. Concerts, iTunes, downloads on many download services. Even for a long time, Shazam. I think Shazam still does it. If you find the song on Shazam, you can just hit download on iTunes and just boom.
It's bam right there.
So you're getting money from all sides, right?
Correct.
So
And-
trying to dig and have your agent say, 500,000 when he pulled the lowest number out of an entire pool of numbers that's a little greed, isn't it?
And I would like to
Like a lot
see.
of greed.
I haven't seen. Maybe someone out there has done it, but I would like to see the numbers difference. And they, okay, here's what you would get for X amount of streams or downloads or whatever versus here's how many albums you would need to sell to match this number. I'm just kind of curious what the X versus Y is there.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see a show even done. We just talked about Foo Fighters show. I'd like to see a show being done about that whole industry. But yeah, I think it's a pull for more loot, and I mean, we talk about this all the time, man. It's not the most important thing in the world, and these people chase it down like whoa.
Well, when you start living the lifestyles they do, and leasing this and renting that, and the amounts that they pay for 'em,
Millions and millions don't matter anymore.
yeah, it becomes an issue that extra money is necessary.
That's why I like Dave, man. He's still doing stuff for the music, and he's still walking around in jeans and a
Boom.
flannel.
Yep.
Now we're obviously not alone on this planet, from microbes all the way up to giant giraffe necks, but there are some awesome species that people don't know about. Do you guys have one that we can help people get their learning on?
Thorny dragons.
Pardon me?
Yeah, they're little gecko-sized dragons, essentially. They're indigenous to Australia, and they're like I said, they're about the size of a gecko or chameleon or whatever. They're small. They have sharp or skin, if you will. They're little points, and they have a false head.
Is that like the picture that I posted
Yeah.
a couple months ago?
Yeah.
That guy?
Thorny dragon, yeah.
They seriously, you look at him, you're just like, it's a dragon!
No, wait.
Hold on.
Wait, it has a false head?
Yeah. If they're attacked and they feel threatened, what they'll do is they'll tuck their head under their front legs and present themselves with a false head.
What in Sam hell? This thing is crazy.
Yeah.
I tell you what, you know what? After the podcast, we should totally pick stitch
Yeah.
our animals and throw them up on the page.
Yeah.
Dude, this thing is crazy looking.
I
Yeah,
didn't save
they're
any pictures.
just a little thorny dragon fact. They're indigenous to the Australian desert. They grow up to 8 inches in length, and they live for 20 years.
So the longest ones are about 8 inches?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
they're amazing. So what's the deal with the bony protrusions? They kind of look like Doomsday.
Yeah, it's like armor. It's like their
Dude,
armor.
Maybe that's a different one than what I posted.
That's different than what you posted. I think
It's
yours
a
had
l-
wings and stuff.
No, mine didn't have wings.
Oh.
Mine seriously looked like a baby dragon that was on Game of Thrones.
Oh, hold on here. I think
Yeah,
I know
And
which one he's
it had a
talking about.
different name. But that
No.
looks like the scales and everything that are on
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah, it's got protrusion. It looks like Doomsday.
It does look like Doomsday.
Yeah, it's a defense mechanism on them.
Josh, man,
Yeah.
do you have an aminal?
Maybe a
I
new
got yeah. I hope I'm pronouncing this right, but mine is called a flying colugo. I guess it's like a relative of you guys know what a lemur is or a lemur?
Yeah.
Lemur?
Yeah, I don't know what they call it, a lemur.
Lemur?
Let's go with lemur. Yeah.
I'm going with lemur, but it's a flying colugo is its proper name. Here's a picture of mine. If you guys want to see it.
Aw.
Those things are what it's got is like when it kind of
Oh my
spreads out.
gosh.
It has they call them huge gliding membranes, which basically gives them like the ability to like leap and fly from like tree to tree.
Whoa. That is awesome,
And the
man.
thing,
Oh,
yeah, the
man.
thing that kind of got me was like not necessarily the pictures of that thing, because if you just see pictures, sometimes it might not be spread out like that. It might just be kind of walking around or climbing a tree because they climb the trees very well, pretty good as well. But I saw a video, and actually with mine, if I make a post, I'd probably like to track down that video. They put a camera on one of its heads
GoPro.
and watched it.
It
Yeah,
has more than one
watched
head
it.
as well.
No, I said that improperly then.
on the head of one
On
of
the
them.
head of one, and yeah, recorded it essentially flying from tree to tree.
That's cool.
And it's pretty cool. Yeah, these fellows are found primarily in Asia, in mangroves and rainforests,
Mangroves.
Dang. Very cool.
and they can. I didn't do a translation on it or anything, but it says that they can glide for over a distance of 100 meters with a loss of less than 10 meters in elevation.
Whoa, so they're super light.
Yeah,
They do look bony, like
Yeah.
their extremities are bone-like.
It
Yeah, I
seems
mean,
like
look
they're
how-
just
look how
mostly
goofy they
arms,
look.
legs, head,
Yeah.
and then the rest is the membrane.
Yeah. Like they only need a sack for where the food is, right?
Yeah.
And they shit before they fly and they're all set. 10-meter loss is just for turds.
Or if you were Josh and I Northwestern earlier, they shit on the way through.
On the way through. Coming through.
Plop.
Mine's the assassin bug. Have you guys ever heard of the assassin bug?
I get the feeling that's
I'm
a
so
nickname, but no.
I'm so excited for this. I think I know what you're talking about.
Now, this assassin bug, when it finds prey, so it stalks its prey on the plant. So depending on how the wind is blowing, the assassin bug will shift its movements to act like one of the leaves, and it just slowly makes its way to its prey. When it comes upon its prey, it snags it, and every part of its body are like stabby little tines, and it just grabs onto it and sticks its. Let me see. It's called a rostrum, and it's like a long bony protrusion comes out of its mouth. Stabs the creature, whatever creature it's killing. They have been seen attacking bats, so just saying that.
Dang.
When the rostrum pierces the creature's flesh, these little things, they call them stylids, open up and spew poison into the body of the creature. Within
So this thing is in the creature, and then it opens and floods it?
exactly.
Oh, it's so
It's
gangster.
like it is totally gangster.
I would assume that it's safe for it to ingest its own poison.
Well, that's the thing. The poison does two things. So the poison goes into its body. Within 3 to 5 seconds, the creature's completely paralyzed but alive, right? So all that poison seeping into the innards of this creature liquefy its insides,
Nice.
to which the stylids close, and the assassin bug sucks all the innards through that rostrum. So it's basically like a straw.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It basically has like an Irish meal.
An Irish meal. No offense to any Irish people out there.
I thought Irish meals
No
were just
offense.
whiskey, but all right, let's go.
well, this is the best part about this bug. It wears its kills on its body.
I love this animal.
Dang.
They
Those
don't
bugs
they're
are-
not even really 100% sure how it gets the bodies on its back, because it'd be like us trying to lick our elbows. That's how hard it is for it to reach its own back. So it gets these carcasses and it puts them all over itself. Serves two purposes. One, first, it's a cool trophy case, you're carrying it around with you. But one of them is camouflage. So it can't really be seen. It looks like dirt or whatever because it's got carcasses all over it of other bugs. And also, when its own predators come after it and go to bite this juicy little bug, they grab an entire mouthful of dead carcasses off its back, and the assassin bug makes its run from there.
It
I
has
really-
a whole new Irish stew.
Whole new Irish stew, the assassin stew.
I really hope there's like a GoPro video of the assassin bug putting the trophy on his back, and it's like that sweet hat flipping video you see on YouTube all the time, where he kicks it up and then walks under and it lands, and then he kind of just struts off.
I'm curious about the size. Like how big are these bugs, or how small are they?
Volkswagen.
I think they're like 2 or 3 inches. I don't think they're gigantic or anything, but
yeah.
they're big enough to attack a frickin'. Check this out.
Yeah, I mean, if they're attacking a bat, I'm just.
Those are carcasses on its back.
Oh wow.
That's friggin' crazy. Those are its kills, man. And if you look at its legs and stuff, everything is just a pokey, spiny, stabby thing.
It looks like he has a backpack of skull and crossbones.
Right. It's just you don't fuck with this bug. That's just how it goes. If it bites a person, also causes a really bad reaction as well.
Oh, wow.
Its poison is that powerful. So, there are some 7,000 species of these bugs all over the world. Just
Oh, that's
thought I'd
good.
throw that out
All
there.
over the world.
All over the world.
Sweet.
Most ridiculous villain plots, Sean.
Oh my God, I've got 2.
2, bring it on, baby.
Do you want the most absurd one first, or do you want to save that one for the end?
No, why don't you ramp us up to that guy?
Okay. Lex Luthor in Superman Returns.
Oh, yes.
We've all seen the movie, correct?
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
all
we
know
have.
the
We
idea.
have.
He gets the crystal, launches it in the ocean, makes new land.
He wants Kryptonite Islands.
So dumb.
There is not a goddamn thing those things are going to do for people. How are you going to cultivate anything in terms of food, shelter, and that kind of thing? Because this is a giant piece of radiation.
And they literally skipped over like 102% of all the detail. He was like, "Oh, and over here, this is the condo, and this is where Kitty's house will be." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "That looks like shit."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even the green kryptonite would have been cool. This
Yeah,
thing was
man.
just dark and stupid.
And then, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna and then Superman flying that thing up. I don't know, man.
Right.
I don't know. Thanks for bringing up bad memories, man.
Yeah,
That's
such a
what a downer.
such a bad.
Well, do you want the
movie.
best one now?
If I OD tonight, it's your fault. Yeah, go ahead.
I hope you do.
Damn.
Damn.
It is a little comic of Superman, mostly involving Jimmy Olsen and the Beard Band.
The Beard Band. What is that about?
Their whole plot was to grab the world and give them all beards.
What? What the hell? This is a real thing.
This is a real thing. You can look it up.
Why?
What they did was it was a club, and Jimmy wanted to be a part of it, so he put a fake beard on.
God damn it, Jimmy.
Poor Jimmy.
He puts a
We love you, Jimmy.
He puts a
We
fake
don't.
beard on and instantly gets noticed that it's fake. So he's walking around.
That
he's
poor
all,
bastard.
right. He's walking around. He's all bummed out because he got spotted, and some dude on the corner's like, "Hey, want to try this elixir? It'll grow you a beard."
Fantastic.
Wow.
Are you guys ready for this part?
Yeah, hit
Yeah.
me.
He tries it.
Well,
And?
of course he does.
Grows a beard.
Bam.
Walks to the club. Gets let in instantly. The guy that gave him the elixir is the leader of this group.
Wow.
This elixir, what they're going to do is they're going to put it in the water supply, and everybody in Metropolis and on Earth is going to grow beards.
This is where they got the plot for Batman Begins.
Yep.
Let's put it in the water supply.
Would you like to know how the plan got foiled?
Yeah.
It's got to be as dumb as the entire thing.
Jimmy's beard gets dunked in the elixir and cancels it out.
So it closes a loop.
Yeah, and not only does it close the loop, everybody that already has a beard loses it.
What?
Wow. So Jimmy Olsen's beard was the catalyst?
Yeah.
Unreal. What era was this in?
It looked like it was drawn in like the 50s or 60s.
Had to be because
Yeah.
there's that's one big huge beard hating time in this country. Like if you had a beard, man, you were not around
Yeah.
from around here.
You were in Vietnam.
You were in Vietnam. No, that's pretty crazy, man. Beard band.
Yeah,
And they
it was
couldn't come up with a better villain thing.
Nope. I don't even know.
And
that
also, what the hell? Just what the hell?
I don't even know that Superman made an appearance in that issue. To be honest with you.
Superman may have grown a beard.
I like that. I'm glad you found that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about glad, but it's something.
I'm getting shoot out of the room now. so,
Beard band.
I think I might be back.
First of all, screw you, Jimmy Olsen.
Mikey, do you want to go next?
If you'd like me to.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, go next.
My villain with stupid plots to take over and be evil and maniacal and murderous. It's Gargamel from Smurfs.
That guy just looks like a creeper.
Yeah, well, they drew him like that on purpose. He looks like a creeper, and he just wanted to eat the little blue people. Like, none of it made any damn sense. Like, he was a villain just for villainy sake. He had no redeeming qualities. Although in a few episodes, I do remember fondly watching Smurfs, and not fondly, but watching Smurfs, and he had these moments of these flashes of being like a good dude, and then he'd always slip back into like, I want to eat Smurfs. Yeah, so that was mine. He just overall and generally tried to come up with plans to capture Smurfs so he could eat them, and it was dumb.
I mean, had he ever gotten like a taste? Did he know what they tasted like? How did he know he was even gonna like Smurfs?
He always tasted that. Yeah, that's the other damn thing. He always tasted the broth, like to make sure the broth was salted enough, with his furry little blue animals in the pot living and talking to him. Right?
He had a cat, right?
Osriel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that cat was dumb as well because its plans were always foiled. It's like if you took Gargamel out of the Smurfs could have still been such a great show. Like he was like purposeless person. It's also curious to me how Smurfette was the only female, but we're not gonna we'll save that for another podcast. Josh, what's yours?
Gentlemen, let's talk about Demolition Man.
Let's do.
You guys have seen Demolition Man, right? We're not.
Negative.
Oh man.
No. What?
Negative.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
You have not seen Demolition Man
No.
with Wesley Snipes?
Come
That's probably
on.
why.
That's Sly?
Snipes.
Yeah, it's
Snipes
got
was
Sly.
actually pretty terrible. I'm sorry, because that's what this is about. Tell us about.
Yeah.
What did Snipes do?
It wasn't even all him. It was actually, if you recall, it was actually the old man who was actually like he was like the kind of like the leader of like the peaceful people. What was his name? I read it and put it in the notes here.
Cockatoo.
Cocteau.
Cocteau.
His name was Cocteau.
And he looked like a cockatiel in a way.
He did a little bit. Cocteau. Yeah.
He had a cockatiel face.
Just one of those stupid plots that doesn't make sense. So it's in the future. Everything is like crime-free. Violence, is a thing of the past. You're not even allowed to swear. You have all these freedoms taken away, but the plus side is that there's like no crime and all that good gravy stuff. So, except there's like rebels that live in the sewers, led by Dennis Leary. Good old rat-eating Dennis Leary.
I would follow Dennis Leary anywhere.
For some reason, I would too, especially a bearded Dennis Leary. For some reason,
Game over.
all they want to do, these rebels, is essentially have the freedoms that they used to have and be able to have food, because they're kind of cut off from like everyone else, because they're the rebels. They live in the sewers and they don't have access to the rest of the goodies. So they basically, go upstairs and they
Topside.
steal food from trucks, and they have like
The Taco Bell. Remember the stupid Taco Bell? They
And
were
they
like
have-
pills, right?
it was,
Put like pills on your plate.
I don't know. Was it pills or was it just like really small food that was like you got like a little
Maybe it was tiny food.
a little sampling and like a leaf. It was not much.
Right.
So yeah, for whatever reason, Mr. Cocteau can't keep this rebel under control. So his scheme is to unthaw out Wesley Snipes, who is like the most violent, insane criminal of like the past, who is, for whatever, his prison sentence was being cryogenically frozen. So this man in the future's plan is to unthaw him out and program him with the new technology to just be a murderer for Mr. Cocteau.
But wasn't the plan that he would pin it on the rebels?
He would pin it on the rebels.
It's like real life, man.
Pin it on the rebels, but he, obviously the plan goes south because old Wesley Snipes just goes on a rampage, does what he wants, starts killing anyone he pleases, wears up a storm and all of that. So the police force that exists in the future decides to thaw out one awesome cop in Sylvester Stallone to combat Wesley Snipes.
Dang.
Sly Stallone.
I actually love watching the movie.
Yeah.
I like it. It's entertaining. Super entertaining. Except Sandra Bullock gets on my nerves in that. It was almost like she just couldn't stop being annoying. I'm sorry. She was real super annoying in that movie. She was playing the dim-witted female. But then when they went down to the sewers and they saw that 452, she was like, "It's a 452. It's a blah 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 engine block." She like knew all about the car.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
That was weird, right? She's like harebrained about everything else, but she knows about old school muscle cars.
And they jam out to old school commercial tunes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's their jam.
it's creepy, right?
That's a little creepy.
Let's do some sharing.
Mine's not a very long story or anything, but basically, yeah, a little positive moment in my life for this year specifically. Recent times. It's actually just kind of pretty recently. I got a text from our friend Phil. Just kind of
What up, Phil?
weird, random, out of nowhere text that basically was saying that he just basically noticed like how much in a different place like I have been like recently, about how much better I'm doing like physically, mentally,
You look good.
and how happy I just kind of seem to be in general, and that he was really he's really happy for me and really proud of me.
Yeah, it's really cool to have a friend who will share that moment with you. Outside of character, it's cool that's like it's like giving you a nice big hug, dude.
Yeah,
For being
it
being
kind
a
of
good
blows you
person.
away.
Yeah, yeah.
You know it's genuine too, because it's not often you get that kind of a praise, and that's a great friend to have, because sometimes you know people that are like that all the time, and you're wondering if they're just doing it to blow smoke up your ass or they actually mean it.
Yeah, and then it comes to you. It comes down to you in some ways, but yeah, you have pandering people out there. That's most certainly true. But Phil would not fall under the pandering.
No.
He would not fall. Phil, I expect a text from you later. Sean, what you got, dog?
And I didn't have the pleasure of, playing for the guy, but it was a high school football coach, Mr. Wender, who always preached the importance of being on time, of doing your best at anything. And we talked about this earlier, but working, even if you don't like what you're doing, do it to your best, because that will carry over into the next thing. And I didn't believe that until I actually worked for Coke when they had a bottling plant back home. And I hated the job. It was hard. You had to load the trucks. There was like you had to be able to carry like 3 things of pop at one time, and there's like 10, 12 packs on them, so they're pretty damn heavy. And I half-assed that job the entire summer. Move over to my next job at Walmart stocking things, and that carried over too. I had to leave an entire state and move back to realize that because I had half-assed that Coke job, that carried over everything else I had ever done.
It's like
it put me in such a negative mood working there that it bled everywhere I went.
it's almost like an attitude of that you're too good for that kind of a thing. Which, yeah, humility and meekness comes in, plays a huge role in that.
Yeah, and that, he taught me. I'd seen him years after, and I was walking into a store, and I saw him, and I was like, Mr. Wender, it's so good to see you. And I don't think he remembered me because he did the basic old man, hey, how's it going?
Hey, guy.
Yeah, hey, guy.
Chief.
Yeah, and I asked him about the coffee shop he just opened up. He goes, you know what, man, I hate it. I don't like it. But because I own it and I work there, I do it my best.
That sucks. He opened his own business and he didn't like it?
Yeah.
Wow.
But because the town liked it and everything, he kept it going.
Yeah. Weird.
Well, that's putting more than that's like putting yourself aside for a bigger purpose though too. So there's this whole thing that's playing in the background. It's not just what's on the surface. So he's past himself at this point. So that's a guy who will live for a greater purpose regardless. And you know what? That's old school way of thinking, man. I'd like to share a positive and inspiring story. And cool thing is, it's a recent one. Can you guys guess? No, you can't, because it was my bachelor party. Everybody.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, dude, that was totally your guess.
No, it wasn't.
I know.
I remember everybody showing up, and then your wife was like, well, I'm leaving. And I was like, ah, ha, ha, funny, Joanna. And then she left.
Yeah, she bailed.
And I was like, what the who is going to watch us? Like,
Yeah.
we needed babysitters.
Well, I was really worried because she's Joanna's great, man. She's like,
Yeah.
she orchestrates things. I mean, as soon as we walked in, the guy at the bowling alley was like, "You are the most organized young lady I've ever seen." And then his wig shifted. But no, it was just a really cool experience. First, my wife pulling this whole thing and making it happen, but then, all of my friends near and far coming together. And it's kind of celebrating those last times of, just
Freedom.
before. Some people would say freedom, but no, it's celebrating those times. Bachelor is what that means. That I'm going into fatherhood, and it was cool to celebrate that moment with friends and people I consider family, and I really had a good time, and I was blown away by everybody's generosity. We just obviously the whole deal was you come in with diapers, so like all you had to do
So many diapers.
That's what the thing is. So you only had to bring like a pack of diapers, and then you can bowl and eat pizza and chicken wings and beer, and it was all taken care of and everything. Joanna, again, did a great job. She even made a cake and with a little mustache on it and all these little pastries. But people didn't come in with just one pack.
Mm-mm.
And that's what blew me away. We had people coming in with tubs, bags, boxes, loads and loads and loads. And it touched me. It really feels amazing.
There was that one, and I didn't see who brought it in, but there was like a giant ass like tote, and it looked like it was some Toys R Us or Babies R Us, and it looked like it had about 1,200 diapers in it.
That tote was sweet. Actually, it ran the gamut. So it had diapers, wipes, and like towels or something else in it, and plus the tote. You could use the tote. I
Mhm.
believe that was my wife's friend's husband, a good guy, Ryan, brought that with him. Again, incredible stuff. We are like so thankful, obviously, but baby Joseph is getting the best possible start to his life, and he's got a really cool group of uncles. Because I would totally put everybody as family in that.
I am
in that
soon to
arena.
be.
Yes, Josh, you're soon to be my son and my son's uncle at the same time.
His
I
uncle.
can't wait to adopt you. So I have more than one kid. It's going to be amazing.
He's going to ignore you more than his actual.
Yeah,
kid,
dude.
really,
When this
right?
baby comes,
I know.
no attention.
Are you gonna have the conversation with him now or after? Like, hey,
Listen, on the way out to the car, I'm going to have to let you down nice and easy. But no, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Obviously, anybody who's listening who participated in that. But just the fact that people would come out and do such an amazing act to help someone out is incredible. And I experienced that firsthand.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
I was very. I shouldn't say very surprised, but I was amazed at the number of people that were there.
Yeah, I was also amazed, and at the same time, I don't know, man. I was like, oh well, if 10 people show up, I'm cool. If
Yeah.
5 people show up, I'm cool. If 3 people show up, I'm cool.
Like-
And that entire room couldn't even hold us in it. So.
Josh and I showed up, and Mike Smith was already there. And then we're walking with our stuff, and the waitress is like, "Oh, you're with the bachelor party," and we're holding our diapers, like, "How'd you know?" So it was,
how'd you know?
you know, I was talking to you and Joanna, Josh was talking to you and Joanna, and then all of a sudden, like, the gates opened, and everybody just showed up all at once.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
They were filing, and it was awesome.
Yeah, we filled the bowling lanes.
Yeah, we took up quite a few lanes. And the bowling was fun, dude. It was so fun again. It was
That
fun.
food was amazing for bowling alley food. I could not believe it.
Pizza after pizza. Oh, and the cool thing was, I had asked Joanna about the pizzas and whatnot, and then she said, "Wait a second, if Brandon's coming and Josh is coming, and I put pepperoni on everything," so she actually ordered 2 extra pizzas to make sure you guys had enough cheese. There was cheese pizza for everybody who
That's awesome.
didn't want to have meats.
Thank you, Joanna.
And
She's-
I ate
dude,
like
she's-
4 pieces of cheese pizza.
Sean ate the specialty pizza just for him.
Well, no, with lunch for work, I'm used to the big cheese pizza and the steak bites.
Oh yeah.
So now I don't like anything. I don't like a lot of things on my pizza anymore. So when I see cheese, that's the first thing I go for. And I saw the cheese pizza. I was like, oh yeah, 2, 4.
It's just clean, you know?
Wings. Yeah.
It's just clean. But yeah, that was an awesome experience. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
One of my favorite parts, I'm going to keep talking about this. One of my favorite parts was the actual bowling. When we found out they clock your speed.
Oh, yeah.
I
Then-
didn't know they did that. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, then it went from who got the highest score to who could throw the ball the fastest.
Well, let me just share this tidbit. I didn't know Josh didn't like bowling or hadn't gone bowling or whatever. Was that your first time
That was my first time bowling.
since you were 8?
No, gosh, man, in well over 10 years.
You know the coolest thing about that? Not just everything that was going on with the bachelor party, which was sweet, but Josh was at the lane next to my lane, and seeing him get up and roll a strike.
Oh yeah.
And I kept telling him, "I believe in you." I was like, "I believe in you," and then he friggin' rolls a strike, and he gets all excited. That was cool to see. It was cool to see you, Josh, kind of like get excited about something like that. That's cool.
I had been waiting for it, man.
I just
I was waiting for it.
You're
I was
waiting.
bowling so bad, but I was just kind of
You
like,
did.
man, I'm getting closer.
Oh, dude,
I'm getting
you were
closer.
so shitty in the beginning, dude. You
so bad.
Oh my god, you had like 6 pins and 8 frames or something ridiculous.
It was
It was
really bad.
ridiculous, and then all of a sudden, boom! He
Nailing them.
just started hitting
Yeah.
pins.
He kept it on the lane, then he nailed that strike.
Yep, he nailed that strike. He picked up a spare.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, that was a good day for you,
He
my
had
man.
cheerleading
It was a good
squad
time.
that night too.
It
What's
was a good
that?
He
time.
had cheerleaders that night too.
Dude, my first strike, I ran down like all 15 lanes we had blocked off and
I
high-fived
remember that.
everybody. I was just like, strike, I get the strike.
I could hear Mike 4 lanes over. Hey, you got strike!
I got
high
the strike,
five! Give
I
me
got
the
the
high
strike.
five!
And then everyone, like, further down, everyone's like scared of me. They're like, oh, hell. What are we supposed to do with this guy? His wife's not here to keep him in check.
See, and that's why she needed to be there.
Yeah, she needed to.
Needed a wrangler.
And then at the end, I mean, we had, again, I'd like to call them blessings in a way. I mean, we needed people to help us take stuff out to the car, so it's pretty freaking sweet.
I was not one of those people. I ended up playing that bouncy ball game the whole night.
What bouncy ball game?
They
We
had
did.
this. Yeah, there's this machine, and it was 50 cents, and you were guaranteed a bouncy ball regardless of how you played. And at certain points, 700 got you a bouncy ball, 3,000 got you like a top of the line super jumbo bouncy ball.
Ooh,
I spent like $4 playing that game.
which
don't
is the equivalent of dropping $1,000 at a casino.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember, but I came out in the parking lot with 4 bouncy balls, and then I threw them almost instantly.
Yeah, you handed me one.
Yep. I was like, all right, I'm gonna win this bouncy ball, and then I'm gonna go help. So I won the bouncy ball, and everybody was filing out with things, and I went into the party room, and everything was gone. I was like, oh, cool, there's nothing left. I'm gonna go win another bouncy ball. Go and play 2 more games. I look over, people are still filing. Like, you had magically moved everything because you didn't want me touching it.
Right.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. We don't want you to break diapers.
Yeah, and then I'm like, all right, now there is more stuff. I'm going to go help. And as I'm walking out, John Schwab's walking out with the pizza. I'm like, is that all of it? He goes, yep, that's all of it. And I was like, oh, I'm a good friend.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Tales from the Void podcast. We've been your illuminating hosts.
I'm Sean, and don't forget to donate money for my Xbox One fund.
I'm Joshy.
And I'm Mike. We'd like to give a shout out to our brothers in Airwaves, the One Up Cup. Find them on Facebook and Twitter at One Up Cup and visit their blog at oneup-cup.com. Also remember to visit our sponsors, Detroit Grooming Co. on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, and on the web at detroitgrooming.com. Cellar Door Soap and Skin at cellardoorsoapandskin.com. Find them on their social media at Cellar Door Soap and Skin on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Lastly, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter at Tales from the Voidcast, the YouTubes, the iTunes, and the SoundCloud on the interwebs at Tales from the Void. Thank you, everybody. Good night.